Today did a bit of work on the 99th Dan Hamming, which was primarily through adding in some blanket props for scene 116 within the 5th raw video file. On the bed to the left, I first put on the original blanket prop that I eventually settled on after much looking around. And on the right, I put on that same prop as altered by Lunapic using the Adjust Colors tool, whereupon I ultimately, after trying out various degrees of adding green to the image, ultimately decided to swap the red with the blue, thus creating what looked like to me a pretty good blue version of the prop. I've been in the process of trying to find a PNG image of the top view of a lamp on a desk, but the closest I've gotten so far is something that I took out of a larger PNG image using the simple crop tool from Lunapic. This came from part of a fruit bowl that me and Mom got a while back from Wegmans. Yeah, those flowers are still looking pretty good. Today I had a dream that I had gotten an orange and white streaked cat. And we played together briefly before I ended up waking up. In Stronghold Kingdoms, I at last got around to working on, in my oldest village, Tylerwell Village, for caps on, cap off, caps on, cap off, altercating pattern that changes with the letters. I took down on my previous castle structures in order to start following the castle design off a YouTube video that my liege lord sent the link to me. And incredibly, I was able to copy that link directly off of YouTube. Well, copy that link to the YouTube video directly off of the chat within Stronghold Kingdoms by taking the message and then double clicking into it in order to open some sort of alternate text reading box, something like that. I'm currently here in regards to the research upgrades on the Goblins and Orcs research tree. I don't see of any way excuse me, to get that last Triumph of the Tides artifact at the moment. Played some Bloons Tower Defense 6, which at the later points towards the end of the day included taking part in a few online co-op matches For me, the main appeal of co-op is how you're able to have more than one hero in game. Because when it's not a challenge, each player within a co-op game is able to place their own hero down. For me, currently, it's Ethine, who is the drone operator hero. Ninja Kiwi came out with an update today for Bloons Tower Defense 6, but that's just it's just essentially for bug fixes, though. It's not for things like a new map, a new tower, or a new hero. Not those sort of things. We had the steak meal around 7 p.m. and for which we used savory beef, gravy, from the afternoon to the evening. I went into the basement a few times in a sort of effort to clean it up, but I ended up finding really more like refinding pieces of free styrofoam and unfinished styrofoam projects, including this, that then promptly went to try and finish for some of them anyway, including this unfinished flake styrofoam. I've been researching in Stronghold Kingdoms scouts in order to increase the number of scouts I can have and send out at once in order to increase my ability, and that's the motivation, to scout AI castles. I'm at 79 quests completed, and the one I'm most likely to want to try to complete is going to end up being Fabulous Host 5, where I hold a grand banquet with venison, furniture, metalware, clothes, and wine. All of which are currently at the maximum I can have within the village hall of 240. I've got a cathedral and 2 churches built within Tylerwow Village. And I'm currently building a brewery in order to replace the one I destroyed to make room for the second church building. All these church buildings in total provide 168 points to my honor production, though that probably counts a small shrine I put in near the village hall. I'm going to want to send in a full force towards whoever I managed to scout, I believe, towards that wolf castle. It's got quite a high degree of stone walls. Yeah, that piece of flake foam. Turns out it was I noticed in the basement, it was on top of an old laptop. It didn't have the usual engraving either on the bottom or the back. Turns out it was unfinished with the back being blank. So I took it up to my room to color out the back, but I knew that if I first finished it, it would be too late to take a picture of it at the time, so I just took a picture of it before finishing it on the back, because it was just the back that was completely blank. And then taking a picture of it, which turned out to work out pretty well. I think I either finished that unfinished flake foam styrofoam project within either right before the steak dinner or right after it. And as for, I also finished another styrofoam project that wasn't abandoned earlier. It was that really long styrofoam piece that was meant to be a sort of play on hotels or skyscrapers or something like that. It ended up having a total of 64 bars with the 64th bar actually being the very top face of the styrofoam bar. And with the one before it, the one at the very top before the top face, ended up having the bar be intentionally left blank to give the impression of it being white. I find it quite fascinating that people I used to watch back in 2013 or so are still up to date, such as Mr. Enter and the Angry Video Game Nerd. They're still around and making new videos. Which I find quite nice to know.